As I was bowing to the altar, I felt afraid. And then I sat down. There's still some nervousness or discomfort. And the question of like, well, what is that? What is that? Is it energy? Is it fear? Is it a sensation? Is it actually an emotion? Is it actually excitement? Or am I willing to let that feeling or that sensation or that experience actually touch my heart and surprise me and not know where it's going to go or how it's going to impact me? Is it okay that I'm having that experience right now? Then I also feel the sun hitting me on my left side, and in Buddhism they have the 12 links of causation or conditionality, and there's like body, sunlight, consciousness. Those three come together and there's contact. And then there's Vedana, there's the feeling tone. And then perception and craving start taking over. And there's a way in which I could have this contact and go, well, I don't like it. Why does this always happen to me? Go into a big story about, oh, my talk's going to be ruined because it's going to be so warm and hot and everything. And that's still a perception there. And then can I play around with, can I actually hang out with the contact of just feeling the sun and exploring what's actually here? Not trying to force like some sort of positive equanimity of like, ooh, yay, it's sunny, like I should be happy. That's not real. But there's this constant flow of experience happening, moment to moment. I don't control, it's hard to predict. And there's these counter forces that are constantly trying to get me to not be in that flow of experience, to go into stories or the future, or judgments, or how I think things are supposed to be, or how things always turn out. So this constant question of, can I return to contact? Can I constantly return to this experience? Maybe it feels good, maybe it doesn't feel good, maybe it's neutral. Noticing what stories, what feelings, what my relationship is to that experience, and how I so quickly and immediately and automatically, it's weird to even say me, there is just this constant, immediate, automatic perceiving and judging and thinking and storying that's happening. And then I see that happen and I ascribe it to myself. And then you can create a whole second empire around that. And then can I just come back to this experience? Feeling the ground, noticing whatever residual tension might be in my body, noticing my breath. this more primary, fundamental experience. One time I visited this Thai monk and I asked him this question that the sutras often talk about, gladdening your mind. And I was like, how do you gladden your mind? Isn't that kind of wrong? Aren't you supposed to just be equanimous with what's happening? And isn't that wanting a sense experience? Wouldn't that be a hindrance? And how do you do that in a wholesome way that's not feeding into craving or clinging or aversion? I mean, according to my memory, which might be wrong, but according to what I remember, he said something like, when there's an abundance of energy, then the mind is gladdened. This sense that life is always giving us exactly the energy, the life we need. And then there's countless ways we... Yeah, it's so pervasive. I kept saying we and I as if that's the actual pronoun, but there are countless patterns that happen that block the energy, or it goes into swirls of anxiety or worry or daydreaming or desires. Each moment God is giving us exactly what we need, and all these conditionings and patterns find ways to rob that energy and rob that life. And so we don't feel like we have enough energy, we don't have enough life, we don't have enough vitality. And then we get sad or depressed, or we look for artificial highs so that we do have the energy. And then we sit for hundreds and thousands of hours to really get to intimately know, what is that life energy? What is that flow that animates all of us, that's always here? And what are the countless blockages and tensions and worries and ruptures and wounds and thorns and doubts and confusions that siphon that energy off? Not trying to demonize those patterns, not trying to destroy them, but see through them, to have compassion, curiosity, acceptance, inquiry into each of them. This path is a path of insight, of understanding. We still have patterns, we still have a sense of self, we still have an ego. However far you go on this path, there's still conditioning. The main difference is just, how do we relate to this experience? When the fear or the doubt or the pain comes up, does a conditioned pattern take over? Or do we have just enough mindfulness to set an intention to explore be vulnerable, to have wonder, to let this experience impact us. As North said, one of the sort of like foundational prerequisites doing this path in a lot of the schools of Buddhism is believing that you are awakened, or that the Buddha did truly exist, that there actually was a person that was human, no different from you or me, that did this practice, that struggled in these inquiries, experienced great bliss and energy and insights, and learned how to just be with each experience completely. And I know many of us have entered these periods of concentration where the body's flowing, the concentration's easeful. It's just a natural happiness, not created or manufactured. It's just there. It feels good to be alive. Wow. It's like when we look at a baby or play with a dog or a cat, and there's just this life and vitality in them, and their eyes are filled with wonder. They're still innocent. And similarly, when we dive into the practice, we enter that more primary, less fabricated experience. And everything can feel new and fresh. It's like I'm seeing the floor for the first time. It's like I'm meeting each of you for the first time. It's like I'm meeting this body and mind for the first time. There's a natural care and love that's already there. Mysteriously and unexplained, there's just love already there. At the training center I trained at, the teacher wrote this poem in the Zendo. I can't remember all the lines, but it's something like, "This house was built to trap you in feelings. Leave or die." It was leave and die. But for most of us that are raised in this culture, the one thing we identify with is our feelings. The one thing that's so hard to be with is our feelings. And whereas the Buddha did a really, hardcore initial path of eating as little as possible and trying to remove all of his physical body needs, and then had to learn the middle way. Maybe I could feed myself nourishing food so that I can do this practice well. Maybe pleasure without craving is fine. It's not a problem. We in modern times don't physically abuse ourselves so much in that way, on average. But we do emotionally abuse ourselves a lot. Saying I'm not good enough, I'm alone, I'm unlovable. I have to get enlightened and then people will like me or then things will be okay. Or we deeply fear the pain of disappointing someone or feeling disconnected from a loved one. And we lose that initial contact point. It's really hard to stay with that initial contact point. I'm naming a lot of negative emotions, but this is also true of positive emotions too. It's really hard to be with boundless, infinite joy and wonder and peace, and ecstasy and bliss, and rapture. Whole body orgasmic, overflowing energy. And so one of the things we're learning is how do we be with that initial contact of these feelings, positive or negative, and stay curious with them. See the conditioning and patterning I'm not even choosing. It's just happening automatically. And getting insight into their constructed nature, their impact, and ultimately their dissolving. There are a lot of people that practice meditation and mindfulness as a way to feel good. And that's not what this practice ultimately is capable of doing. You can talk to a lot of people that say, why can't we just create a pill or shoot your brain with electricity or something and make you enlightened? Wouldn't it be so great if we didn't have to sit for hundreds and thousands and lifetimes of hours? If we could just give someone the experience of no longer having suffering or fear or doubt or confusion. Wouldn't that be the greatest good you could possibly do? And there's a lot of assumptions in that way of looking. There's a secret assumption that people can't handle suffering. I don't actually believe in you. I need to give you this pill or this technology to make you enlightened, because I don't think you can get enlightened on your own. But there's actually an even deeper assumption that's, I would say, even worse. Which is the universe wasn't wrong when it created suffering. Whoever generated suffering wasn't mistaken. It's not a bug. It's not an unfortunate accident that wasn't supposed to happen and we humans will fix it or something. If you steal from someone and you feel bad afterwards, that's good. It's not a problem. That's a corrective feedback mechanism. I used to work with a lot of people in New York City, these kind of wealthy type A people that made a lot of money and thought they did all the right things, and then they had maybe no human loving connection in their entire life. And they would say, I know people talk about joy or love, but I don't know what that actually feels like. I have no idea what people are talking about when they talk about that. Can you feed me a drug, a psychedelic or something, or teach me meditation and make me feel love, fix my life, without changing anything else about my life? I still want to go to the job that I hate. I still want to do all the things that I know are not good for me. And I want to feel all the good things. That would be terrible if that was possible. The only thing that's keeping the world even partially sane is that suffering exists. Now, of course, there's unnecessary extra suffering that we do a lot of practice and work to untangle and resolve. And then there's a lot of pain and challenge of becoming the person I'm meant to become, walking the path I'm meant to walk. I always write these notes, and then while I'm giving a talk, I always feel like somehow it's wrong to look at my notes, as if I would be ashamed that I somehow didn't memorize the entire talk and need to rely on notes. And so the main thing I'm just trying to reiterate over and over again is, how can I come back to this primary contact point of this experience? Of this deep trust. Maybe you have to experiment with it, but this deep trust of, I can do this. I don't need an outside guru. I don't need a fancy technology. I don't need a 900-page treatise on meditation. Everything that I need is right here. I can totally do this. Because whatever experience you're having right now is the experience you're having right now. Notice if you're resisting. Make room for that resistance. Understand and love that resistance. If you're experiencing flow and joy and energy and bliss, then get super curious about that and let that penetrate your whole body and your whole being. The fundamental question in this whole spiritual path is this question of, is the universe friendly? Is this experience okay? all of these patterning and habits and prapancha and mental formations that are constantly running. Is it okay if I don't feed them and I stop protecting myself from the world? In this safe container of this retreat, when there's only other fellow practitioners, can I let my heart be touched? Let my being be impacted? This willingness to fully live or fully die into this moment. And on the other side, after great striving, and clarifying, and trying and experimenting, this clear, bright mind that responds without needing to think about it. And the gift that you can give everyone, wherever they are, going through whatever turmoil or pain or confusion, and rather than caretaking them, trying to feed them advice or strategies to not feel this experience, you can fully be with them and empathize and go, I believe in you. I will support you to feel and move through this experience. That ultimate deep love, trusting ourselves and trusting others, that's a great, great gift. And if you're like me, you didn't get that gift as much as you needed or wanted growing up, or even into adulthood, and so we're learning how to rebuild, reconnect this primary connection to God or Source or the Dharma. It says the universe is friendly. It's not out to get me. I don't have to defend myself every single second. Maybe I can relax just a little bit. I don't need to keep track of my sense of self. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? Is this the right experience? Is this the wrong experience? The earth wants to support me. The sun wants to warm me up. The air wants to give me life. Gradually we can surrender to what's true, to what's good, to what's beautiful, to the loving heart that cannot be broken. This heart-mind that can hold all experience, heartbreak and tragedy, joy and bliss, peace and confusion. All of that can be felt and experienced in this deep heart-mind. And then we can have the true freedom that's not about just having the pleasant experiences or the preferences that I want, but living in alignment with what's good, with what is real, with what is true. And so every moment just checking, is it okay to be here right now? Can I be with the contact point of this moment? Can I truly believe I can do this fully and completely? And if the answer is no, that's fine. Can I be with the no that says I can't? That's my new contact point. Or it's a yes. Wonderful. Just dissolving and dissolving and dissolving. Meeting and meeting and meeting. Learning whatever happened in our human life. We can heal that and recover from that and dissolve and reconnect with this deep well of life.